and welcome to Visual Analytics 2020. My name is Dr. Friedman. To those students who already took classes with me, welcome back. To the new students, again, welcome. I will try to outline what I'm going to present, what we are going to do in this class, and I hope it will be clear. I will go over the syllabus and then I will try to explain what is visual analytics and why are we so persistent of teaching you as part of data science concentration. So let's start with the syllabus and try to figure out what it is. You're going to read 3 books, 1, 2, and 1 online textbook that you can download for free. The first one is, now you can see it, is a simple or design a textbook that talks about the visual design of data. And I will use it throughout the semester, and I will try to make it more sense, and I will try to incorporate that throughout the discussion about design. The second book is about open source R and about how do we implement the R into visualization. And the author of this book is part of the RStudio team, and he is using the R as his main tool to visualize the data, and we will talk about that. So this is the aim of this is the textbook of the class. We're going to have what we're going to have as you experienced in the past is that you're going to have a weekly blog posting, which means that in order for you to get full credit for your assignment, you need to post your blog. And there's a different blog. I think the easiest blog is WordPress, but there is also GitHub a blog, and there's the university blog. You can choose whatever feels right for you. And there is an assignment that you're going to post on your blog. What is the idea of it? Is that I want you to show not only to me as your instructor, but to the world what you learn in this class about the visualization. And the hope is that if you are going to apply for a job, people will see what you have done or what you have learned and how do you approach it, and so you will have a better ideas who is watching your blog. In addition to that, the blog will also be a platform for your peers in the class to review your work, which means that I am very keen about peer review, and so this will be a great platform to conduct the peer review. We will do that in Canvas, but you will post your work in your blog. The final project is worth 50% of your grade, and this is something that I want you to work and start thinking about when you are developing it. And the idea is that I want you to have something that is personal, something that you have passion about, because it requires you a lot of work and a lot of insight in order for you to apply. So I will post with the final project, I will post project that students did in the last few years, so you will have a good understanding what it is entail. So this is the syllabus. I hope you will be able to read it, and I hope you will enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. So let's start with Let's start with what is let's start with what is visual analytics. The issue is that we have a lot of data out there. The number of stars, the data that we receive from the web server or your phone, and so we have a lot of data that we encounter. In the field of information science, we usually define data, information, and knowledge as a key component of how we see the world. But in addition to that, we have the idea that wisdom is the quality of having experience with knowledge and good judgment in order for us to make a wise decision. So the idea is the raw material is data, information is a little bit above it, knowledge is the next level, and the wisdom is the decision we make. I'm using McDonald 2011 diagram that shows that data is red or numbers, and the information is that the meaning of the data is that the south-facing traffic light on corner, and so it's going to turn red very soon. The knowledge that we gain out of this data is that traffic light I'm driving towards has turned red. And the wisdom, maybe I need to stop the car, or maybe I need to take alternative way. This is how things are working in order for us to make better decisions. But the question is, what is data? It's all around us. But what is it? So data is a value assigned to a thing. Example, the number of likes that you got in Facebook, or the number of people who visit your blog, or the number of bad grades you gave your teacher. So the definition of data, according to Wikipedia, is a general concept referred to the fact that some existing information or knowledge is represented or coded in some form. So we measure data by looking at numbers, text, etc. And the data is based on what we're going to do. We are going to look at that in statistic and algorithm. We are maybe look at that from theoretical or model, or we're going to examine that in the context of human experience. Every single day, 7 million people post messages in Twitter, including our president. So those are the things that we call data, and what do we make out of it? So the problem, data cannot speak for itself. We need to provide interpretation to it. The same goes to the numbers. Numbers cannot speak for themselves, so we need another additional help in order for us to do that. Our tools for the longest time was a spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet is a table that has value arranged from row and columns, and each value has a predefined relationship with another value. The spreadsheet has a long history. And in 1869, the bank in England used to post the deposit that the people came to the bank was deposit. It used to be a clockwork that used to say how much money did you put into the bank, and he used to sign it in order for it to verify it. Nowadays, we have a ticket deposit before the phone, and so we used to write it on a paper and submit it to the machine in order for it to do that. Nowadays we use the phone in order for us to deposit our checks. So there is a lot of work about the first spreadsheet, and it was in mid 1970. Even though Bill Gates take a lot of credit for creating the spreadsheet, basically it was not him that created the idea. It was Barkley and Frankenstein that created the idea of spreadsheet. But what Bill Gates did was provide the spreadsheet more human interface in order for it to be able for everyone to understand how it works. So nowadays, the spreadsheet has a little bit of terminology. the row, the column, the cell, the range, all of that are part of the terminology that we use in order for us to communicate what it is. We also have label. We have value, and we can have a formula that create a relationship among other cells. So how big is a spreadsheet? Usually we can see 9 columns and 18 rows. And again, this is the size of the screen. But again, this is part of the ongoing debate. Is the spreadsheet big enough to capture big data? And it is ongoing debate. So how do we explore Excel? If you are not familiar with Excel, I recommend you to do that. I will not teach you Excel. This is not my favorite subject in the world because I am not a big fan of Excel. But Excel has a very basic features that are easy to use. So he has a title bar, he has a menu, he had a standard bar, he has all the features that makes our work a little bit easier. So we can sort the data, organize the data, classify the data, and do all the things that we need to do in order for us to do that. Example in my own world is using Twitter, and this is where I took the data from and started to organize it in order for me to have better sense. But tables or articles do not communicate efficient as graph. So the tables and the books do not do that. Why is that? To illustrate my point, this is for the left side, we have a table as presented in Excel, an article that can be presented in Word document in comparison to a graph. And so my point, and I will try to emphasize that again and again, is that I can communicate, I can share my findings better when I'm using a graph. Why? Because most people, when they will look at the table or the article, they will not pay attention to it as they will pay attention to the graph itself. So why do we visualize data? We want to see things. We are people that like to see things. And so we are visual creatures. We detect structure that are otherwise hidden. And so we take advantage of our senses, of our eyes, in order for us to understand what's going on. So what is visual analytics? Why are we here? Is the outgrowth of the field of information visualization and scientific visualization that focus on analytic reasoning to facilitate by interactive visual interface, and that's part of the definition. So the key terms in visual analytics are data, visualization, knowledge, and modes. Those are the things that we are trying to achieve using visualization. So the visualization is about giving you interpretation of the data, giving you understand more knowledge on the data through visual eyes, and ability to do some data mining using the visualization. So the visual is a form of mental image or a vision of. So visualize is to imagine or remember as actual seeing. So the visualization is the process of representing abstract idea or data as an image so we can have better understanding the meaning of the data. So why are we here? We are here to learn about visualization. There's two types of visualization: scientific visualization and visual analytics. I want to explain to it because this is really important, because some of the texts and some of the articles that we're going to read will usually confuse between them. Scientific visualization is about structural data, Example, medical data. So there is no inherent structure. Example, news or stock market or Facebook connection. Those are scientific data, we can count it. Visual analytics is to understand large amount of data that can come from audio, video, text, imaging, and network in order for us to do that. So yes, those two fields collaborate with each other, but visual analytics usually refer to the large amount of data that we are often inside. I want to refer now to the idea that numbers can lie. It is in 1954, Huff wrote a book about that numbers can lie. And this is really important because part of the problem is people often use data and statistic for not a good reason, or not for telling a lie and not telling the truth. And so I would like you to watch two videos that I think will shape up your understanding how I see the world. The first is Hans Rosling. He is a Swedish statistician that taught us about the power of visualization. This is a must-see video because it will tell you how he sees the world, how the world has shape, and what is it entail. So this is a must-see video. Sorry, here it is. So this is a must-see. It's produced by BBC and it's great, and I really like you to watch it. The second video is the person that we're going to learn more and more about his work in R and how he sees that. He is the creator of ggplot2, the most popular visual package in R, and as you will see, it is about the idea. So let's talk about a little bit about graph and plot and what it is. If we will convert the idea of a plot to a narrative, English narrative or storytelling, we have always the beginning. We see the rising action, the climax, and the falling action, and the end or the resolution to it. So if I will look at that in type of the plot diagram, it will give you the idea where we're going and how to apply to it. So yes, my animation is not straightforward and it's not idea, but what I want you to see is how to look at the plot itself, or the diagram that this visual trying to tell you. So the idea here is that all of this is part of how do we organize our storytelling, or how do we organize the visualization that it will be easy for everyone to read. So the first stage is the exploration, where we try to tell you a story about what we have learned, and it is the idea that we introduce the main conflict. And then we are raising the conflict or the action, and we are building interest or suspend. And then this climate is where the top of the story that we are trying to tell is reached to that point. And from there, usually we are falling down, and so the climates are taken care of in order for us to do that. And the resolution out of it. So this is my interpretation of how we are trying to tell a story using visualization or a plot in order for us to do that. So visualization can also tell a lie. Example, what does this graph tell you? Is the result information worth the effort? And again, it can be misleading and it can not tell the truth. This is a new book by Alberto Carrillo. He is a professor in the University of Miami. He said that what makes the visual argument so appealing is it has to have a title, it has to be a caption, it has to have a source, and it trying to tell you a story. The second thing that we need to have in our visual argument is a measurement or a scale or a legends. Those are part of how we tell the story. Then there is we have to have in the visual, we have to have a method of visual encoding. Example, the use of the axis, the vertical and horizontal axis. How do we play with that? How do we choose which one is which and how to account for that? This is something that we will talk about that when we are designing your visualization graph. And so one of the recommendation he says is read the notation in order for you to do that. And the last part, which is really important, take a bird eye view to spot patterns, trends, and relationship when you are creating your visualization. So I want you to have this idea of how do we compose or write the visual arguments. In compared to words, in compared to language, we do not have yet established what is the visual argument consist of, and this is a good starting point to existence. So what are we going to do in this the class and how we are going to approach it? We are going to look at four applications. We are going to go and see Google Data Table. It is ongoing. The first one, Google Data Table, is still ongoing process. It's not good. It's not stable. It's crashed a lot, and I don't know what is the policy yet. And I have a feeling they're going to charge it. So we're not going to play with that as compared to the three other applications that we are going to see. The next one is Tableau. And Tableau is, for many, is the alternative or the only solution of visual analytics. It's not my favorite. And my reason for that, it is not, again, steady. So we will use that in order for us to do that. Plotly is alternative to Tableau. It was based on open source code such as R or Python. And the last one is open source R, which we are going to focus because this is my area of specialty. So Tableau is a really nice, but it's not, for me, it's not powerful. Plotly is also nice, but it is problematic when you have a large set of data. And what is R? Your professor is obsessed with R. And as you can see, I want to tell you the story of R because this is where I develop my ideas and my skills. So R is not the alphabetic, is not the 18th letter of the alphabetic. Basically, it's the name of the two authors who created. But the R was started in 1976 in Bell Labs, that was purchased later by AT&T, and again in 1980 and 1990 John Chambers started to develop the S language, and he gave up because the Bell Labs did not want it to continue this project, and he let it go. It was open source. So in 1999, Ross Iker and Robert German took it and from the University of Auckland, New Zealand, and started to develop the first R. I met all three people, and they are lovely, and they are grateful as they are. And for me, this is where the development occur. So what's unique about R is that R is open source, which means that we can take any data and manipulate that. We can take any statistical model and manipulate it based on the data, but we can also create chart that is really powerful and never been done before. The R environment consists of packages to enhance our work. So the idea is that we are going to see different packages that allowed us to do the visualization. So we will learn how to install the package, how to run the package, and how to apply that. So our goal for this class is to understand and what makes visual analytics efficient through the study of core principles. We will learn those principles using those two textbooks. We will learn critically how to evaluate visual representation, but we will do that by using hands-on. You're going to apply the Plotly and the Tableau and the R in order for you to create that, and you're going to receive critiques from your peers in the class. And so the idea and my hope is that when you finish your class, you'll be able to say to your future employee, I can analyze this data, but also I can visualize, so it will make more sense out of it. So this course is about visual analytics, and we will learn about that. It is online. It's not that I'll come and talk to you face to face. So if you have any questions or any concerns, please email me or Skype or come to my office. I hope that will overcome the fear that you might have from your professor. And I really hope that you will enjoy it. This is really important. I worked hard that this course will be part of your area of concentration. I hope you will enjoy it. I hope you'll be able to understand why visualization is so important. And to end up this presentation, let's have a great semester. So until next time, enjoy.